Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got some tea here because I'm going to be spilling the tea on why I ran away from my previous host family. So if you're interested in hearing about that, stick around. Before I get started with the story, I'm just going to put out a couple disclaimers, right? Number one, I am not the problem, okay? I am not the problem. I know at this point it gives very much I'm the problem because I've been through three difficult situations back to back to back with these host families, but I promise you, I'm not the problem here. I promise you. It's the au pair program in France. Like, it's really these families. You're just gonna have to believe me. If you don't believe me, that's also okay. Like, you're well within your rights to not believe me. Like, whatever. I know. Because my first family fired me after a week. My second family abandoned me in a different country. And then my third family, this one I'm about to talk about, I had to run away because I was just so unhappy. It gives very much I'm the common denominator. I do know that, but trust me, I'm not the issue here. Number two is I don't really want to see anybody commenting, oh, it's time to stop being an au pair, you need to change your career, this, that, and the third, because number one, it is something I'm working on. I don't want to be an au pair forever. I cannot be an au pair forever. Number two, it's not something that I can change tomorrow. Do you get what I mean, you guys? Like, it's a long-term thing. If I'm going to change my career, I need to think about it. I need to plan it. I need to apply for jobs. If there's a course that I need to take, I need time to take that course, things like that. So when you guys are commenting that, it's not really helpful. Like, it's not really helpful because it's not something that I can change tomorrow. And then thirdly, what I also don't really want to see is the if I were you comments, because at the end of the day, you're not me and you were never in my situation. And because you are not me and you were never in my situation, you don't know what you would do because you were not in that situation at the end of the day. Do you get what I mean? Sometimes it's easy to say, I would have done this, I would have done that, but wait until you're in that position. Wait until you're in that exact situation. So I don't really want to see those comments. Also, not helpful. No, not very helpful at all. And then another thing, I will just link everything that you guys may be interested in if you're interested like in this set, if you're interested in the jewelry, if you're interested in this, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I do get questions about like my stuff. So I'm just gonna start linking it. I'm really gonna try my best. It's not everything that I do get online, but most things I do get online, so it's pretty easy to link if you're interested. But yeah, let's actually start off with the story. So I met my host mom through Facebook. She puts out an ad. She is a mom, she has 3 kids, and she's looking for a rematch au pair. Remember that, rematch au pair. A lot of families do tend to look for rematch au pairs just because it's easier. Like, you've already got your paperwork, you're already in the country, they don't have to wait for you to arrive, things like that. It's not completely fair to all the people that want to be au pairs just because families don't really want to have the patience to wait for an au pair to get to them. You know, whatever, man, like, whatever. At this point, I'm also still homeless in Luxembourg, so I'm gonna take what I can get. And also because I was still homeless, I was like searching for families up and down, yo. Like, I was in the Facebook group chats, like, every single time a family would post, I'm there. A family would post, I'm there. Oh, also, I've got pimple patches on my face because my cycle is about to start and my skin is just not being very nice to me. That's the truth. So that's what this is. But anyways, my host mom types that she's looking for an au pair, rematch au pair. I message her and we start talking, right? The conversation is very brief. It's nothing grand or nothing. And then she like gives me a WhatsApp number because she's like, oh, I want to video call you and then we can talk about everything face to face. Cool. No problem there. In fact, I quite like it that she's like moving speedy because, like I said, I'm homeless in Luxembourg at this time. I don't need a host that's going to be taking her time. So cool. She calls me and we talk. In the interview, she doesn't really ask anything about me. Okay, he doesn't really ask anything about me, and it'll tie into everything that like ends up happening to me because at the root of it all, I don't think that my previous host family looked at me as a person. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was not really considered as a person that's also has their own thing, has their own life, has, do you get what I mean? Like, I was never looked at like that in my host family. So even now when I think about it, like, I thought about it after the interview. I was like, she never asked a single thing about me. Like, obviously, like in interviews, you ask your au pair questions just to determine if you guys would be a match. Do you get what I mean? Like, if your personalities would merge well together, like, what are they interested in? What do they, do you get what I mean? Like, things like that. She never asked me a single question about me. And in the interview, she very much started off like, I don't like this, I don't like that. I want somebody like this, I want someone like this. She said she doesn't take Kenyan au pairs because she had an au pair that was from Kenya but ran away. So she doesn't like all Kenyan au pairs. So she's not taking Kenyans. She said that she doesn't like somebody that cries a lot, which I just found odd. She's like, yeah, I don't want someone that cries a lot. I don't want someone that cries all the time. I don't want a Kenyan. I want somebody that is part of the family. I want somebody that is there to help us. I want somebody that laugh and take a joke. I want somebody that she got me. She was like very much explaining what she like wants. And at the time, okay, I was like, sounded like, okay, fine, I can do this. You know, I do also love to laugh. I can take a joke. I understand, like, as an au pair, you do have to help the family, right? Things like that. And like when I would ask about my schedule, she did explain like, oh, you help with the kids in the morning, when the kids are at school all day, and then they come back in the evening, you help a little bit. I make dinner. We all eat. After eating, it's bedtime. Cool. What about weekends and holidays? Oh, holidays are spent with the au pair. Weekends, you have your weekends off because the kids go to their dad. Remember, she said that to me. She said, weekends are off because the kids go to their dads. Right, cool. And then I asked, like, if I can speak to her previous au pair. She's like, oh, yeah, don't worry, I'll give you her number and you guys can talk. Cool. So she gives me her au pair's number and I do talk to her. She is so, so sweet. She's from Zim and she like tells me about the family. Like, oh, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, and this is that and the third. And she tells me like, oh, they're good. You know, kids are kids at the end of the day and they're not like perfect. But at the core of it all, you know, like they are good, you know. They're not gonna mistreat you. They're not gonna chase you away. And she tells me like her previous host family, she was chased away from her previous family too. French host families when I catch you. Oh. So she was also chased away from her previous host family, and she was saying like she knows like with this family they would never do something like that. And if the kids, it's mainly just taking care of the younger child. I just like ask her like, okay, cool. Would you say there's anything that like you don't really like about the family? She's like, oh, you know, at the end of the day, like no one's perfect. So there's things here and there, but it's nothing too difficult. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay, cool.
Hi y'all, it's Editing Me here. I do want to add that my host mom used to be an au pair as well. So for me, I just want to like add that on because like then I really trusted that she was gonna be good because she knows what it's like to be in my exact position. She knows what it's like to be in an au pair's exact position because she used to do it. That's one. And number two, I did not tell either of them, like my host mom or the au pair, that I was currently homeless because I knew that I was gonna look desperate. Number one. And number two, I just wanted my host mom to like want to hire me for me and not want to hire me because she's thinking like, oh my god, she's stranded in another country. I just like have to help her and I have to hire her based off of that because then when we clash, if you know, at that point I didn't know, but I'm just thinking like if we clash, then I don't want her thinking like, well, yeah, at the end of the day, I did hire you because I felt sorry for you. You get what I mean? I wanted her to hire me because she liked me and because she wanted to hire me. Yeah.
Now, one thing you must know in the au pair community, au pairs protect other au pairs, and I love it. And host families protect other host families, that's what they do. But au pairs do protect other au pairs. So for me, even though when I first met her, I was like, I'm unsure about this lady. She seems very like, I don't want this, I don't want that. Do you get what I mean? Like very, I don't know, just like not nice. I just didn't get the vibe that she was a nice person. But when the au pair said, you know what, you'll be fine. They're good and the kids are good, so you'll be fine. I trusted her and I just like took her word for it. If the au pair says I can handle it, then I can handle it. So I get back to the host mom and I text her. I'm like, oh yeah, I've spoken to the au pair and I think it will be okay. I think I would like to be your au pair. And she's like, oh great, we would love to have you, blah, blah, blah. We start making arrangements and I booked my flight to Paris. Then she picks me up from the airport. But even that was a bit confusing because at first she was not going to pick me up and then she ends up like being able to pick me up. And she calls me and I'm trying to like get out from the airport and she's shouting, bro, saying, I'm parked at this spot. Where are you? Where are you? I'm like, I can't see you. What's your number plate? What's your car, like what is it, so I can like be on the lookout. She's like, you don't need to know my number plate, you don't need to know my the car type, it's the only car that's parked here. So I'm like, bro, just tell me like your car type and your number plate. And she's like, no, I'm parked by the buses. Do you see buses? I'm like, yeah, I do see buses. And she's like, then you should be able to see me. You don't need to know the number plate. You don't need to know the type of car. You should be able to see me. Bro, I could not see this lady. Like, I could not see it. And I think it was just like, I was just a bit confused. Like, I just landed, I've got all my bags. It's raining too. It's raining, it's dark. Like, do you get what I mean? I'm just thinking to myself, like, why is it so difficult for you to just tell me your car type, tell me the number plate? Oh, I'm like, I cannot see you. So I'm like, I tell her, like, I cannot see you. And I can literally hear her, like, going, like, freaking out a little bit. I'm just thinking, that is not necessary. Like, that is not necessary. If you just tell me your car type and your number plate, maybe that would help. Do you get what I mean? And for me, I don't know. I just think like in a situation like that, any bit of information that can help, give it. You know what I mean? Don't withdraw information, make the situation better. Like I'm asking your car type and your number plate, not for fun, but so I can find you. So eventually I do end up seeing her, and yes, she was right. She was the only car that was parked there, but I couldn't see it. Okay, fine. I get in the car, and she's like, yeah, like, why couldn't you see me? And this, and if I'm just like, yeah, I couldn't see you. She's like, well, wait, I can't really talk to you right now. I've got a situation. So then she calls her son, and her son is on the phone. She just starts shouting at her son. I don't really understand what's being said because this whole conversation is being had in French. So I'm just sitting there and she's shouting. And in the end, she does explain to me, like, oh, my son was at a basketball match and he got in a fight with one of the parents. And apparently they were laughing because one of the parents is too short and her son is like taller. Whatever that conversation was about. But yeah, that was the root of what was going on. Okay, cool. Then she's like, you know what though? I want to call the au pair because she also did something that upset me. She calls her and I don't know, she shouts at her about something. I don't really get it. I don't understand it. But I'm like, okay. I do want to say that the minute I got in that car, I felt like I also made another big mistake. I feel like this is a crazy lady. I feel like this is another crazy lady. I do feel like that. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I just need to get to know her better. Some people are just not very good at making a good first impression. And I just thought like maybe that's just her. Like some people, like I said, some people are just not good at making a first impression. They don't think about how big a deal a first impression is. So I just thought, okay. So anyways, I just think, okay, she doesn't really like care to make a good first impression. Okay, cool. And then we stop at a pizza place. She gets a pizza. And when she gets in the car, she turns the light on in the car. And she's like, you're very pretty. I'm like, oh, thank you. She's like, yeah, you're pretty. But also I had makeup on. And she was like, yeah, you're pretty. You look like you care about the way that you look. I was like, oh, yeah, well, thank you. And she's like, yeah, you're not like Beth. I'm gonna just like name the other au pair Beth. She's like, yeah, you're not like Beth. Beth doesn't really care about like the way that she looks. She doesn't really like put effort into her looks. And I tell her like she should put more effort into her looks, but she just doesn't care. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, one thing about me is like, if you're going to compliment me, you don't need to compare me to somebody else to give me a compliment. I hate people that do that. You don't have to bring somebody else down to like uplift somebody else. You don't have to do that. Like, you could have just said, oh, you're pretty. I like your makeup. Do you get what I mean? You don't have to say, oh, like, you're not like Beth. Beth doesn't really care about the way that she looks. She doesn't put makeup. Like, you don't need to do that. I think maybe in her head, she thought like that would make me feel better. But I'm just not that type of person. And number two, she's an au pair. And I'm not going to bring down my colleague. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, no, I will never look down on her. I will never think I'm better than her. We are the same. And she's from Zim too. Like, that's my sis. Like, that's my sis. And you're not going to like talk that way about her. And also notice this is a trend. This is something that she tends to do, is to compare me to her a lot. And I mean it in a way to like to try and make me feel better by making the other au pair look bad. Giving very much narcissist, giving very much triangulation. Do you get what I mean? Trying to triangulate us against each other to compete for her approval, essentially. Again, you're going to see this happen quite a number of times. So cool. We drive to the house. I get there, I meet the kids for the first time, and they say I'm so short, and okay, fine, whatever. So with the kids, I'm gonna name the kids Sarah, Jake, and Chris, right? Sarah is the youngest. She was the kid that I was most closest to, but also she was my main responsibility because Jake and Chris were a bit older. Jake was like about 10 years old, and then Chris was 12 or 13 years old. So Sarah at this point, she's like 6. So she's like my main responsibility. She's the one I take care of the most. Because I get to the house kind of late, I just like get to my room and like I go downstairs and I have a pizza with them. I meet the kids, and it seems like okay. I don't really like have much to say. I don't really know them, but everyone is still like also like quite fascinated about me, obviously, because I'm somebody new in their house. It's fascinating, right? So cool. The kids asking a bunch of questions. Oh, where you from? Blah, blah, blah. Do you speak French? This is that and the third. Whatever, whatever, whatever. Cool, 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 cool. At this point, the kids are aware that Beth is going to leave soon. So that's why I'm coming in, the family. So anyways, we have dinner and we go upstairs. It's time to go to bed, right? And that's when I learned that Sarah's closet is in my bedroom. Like the bedroom that's supposed to be for the au pair. Like Sarah's closet is in there. Toys as well, like a couple other things of Sarah's are in my room. So I'm just like, I don't really like that because I was not told that I'm essentially sharing the room, because that would mean that Sarah needs to get dressed in my room. That would mean that Sarah can basically go in and out my room if she's like looking for her clothes or looking for her toys, because her stuff is in my room. Do you get what I mean? So that element of privacy is kind of taken away, right? And I feel like I should have been told about that, but fine, I was not, whatever.
Hi, it's me again, and I do want to add that it might seem like something just so little, but in the end it becomes really, really annoying because sometimes Sarah would come back from like her dad's after the weekend, and then like she'd come in late and then she's turn on the light at like maybe like 11 p.m. while I'm sleeping because she needs to change into her pajamas before she goes to bed. It's not her fault that she has to do that. Oh, but it's also not fair to me that she came home late from her dad's place, and now she's waking me up so that she can change. And I was not told that I was going to be sharing a room. Do you get what I mean? Like, it just got a bit annoying as time went on, because I'm just like, I have no privacy. Like, I have no privacy. Sometimes the kids would just be like coming in and out the room. I don't like that. Like, I'm chilling. It's my free time. Can you guys not be coming in and out the room? Like, sometimes if they play in, or because the fact that, me and Sarah basically share the room, they feel like it's also Sarah's room, so it's okay if they like just like are coming in and out. Or like even some days, like if my host mom is looking for something of Sarah's, now she's also coming in and out my room, and I'm just like, I basically just have to like chill and just like take it. You know what I mean? Like, I have to just like sit there and take it while people are just coming in and out of like a place that's supposed to be my private space. Oh, chill. Sorry about that. But it just wasn't nice. It just got like increasingly annoying as time goes on, and that's why I do mention that.
Anyways, I go to bed. The next morning I wake up. My husband wakes me up and she's just like, hey, do you need something to eat? Are you alright? I'm like, oh no, I'm okay, thank you. I want to just like start unpacking, but I can't really unpack because Beth's stuff is still in my room. Beth went away for the weekend. She was gonna be back on Monday morning. Because she is still in the house, also her stuff is still in the closet that's meant for me. So at this point I'm feeling like, do I even fit in? There's Sarah's closet in my room. The other closet is filled with Beth's clothing. Like, I'm just like, they're like, okay. My host mom comes up to me and she's like, oh, you know what? I would like to have a picture of your passport and your visa because I want to make the contract. I'm like, sure, no problem. I gave her. She takes pictures. She's like, yeah, so I'm going to draw up the contract, then we can both sign it. Right, cool. That never happened, by the way. That never, ever happened. Now, when I think about it, I think it was just a way for her to just have a picture of my passport and visa. Like, it was just a way for her to have a picture of my passport and visa. Because she never, ever drew up a contract. Ever drop a contract. And I found out later, but even with Also never had a contract. So it gives very much, I don't know. We start talking a little bit. She just tells me like, oh yeah, like it's good that you're South African because I don't really take Kenyans. Again with this Kenyan thing. Because I had an au pair that ran away and this is that and the third. And she brings up this au pair so many times. I'll only stay there for 1 month, but the way she talked about that au pair so many times, I just think like it's really unnecessary. And I also don't really like hosts that talk bad about their previous au pairs just because I feel like it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth when somebody talks negatively about somebody that helped them when nobody else could, because your au pair took care of your kids at the times that you weren't able to be there for whatever reason, if for work, for traveling, blah blah blah. The au pair took care of your kids. Don't talk bad about them now just because you don't need their help anymore. You know what I mean? Don't talk bad about them now just because you have a new au pair. That's not nice. But fine, whatever. Then moving on from that, we start talking just in general, and she unprovoked just starts telling me about how she, sorry, my hands are like dry, chow. She just starts telling me unprovoked about how she doesn't really need an au pair. To me, which is like quite odd because it's just like, okay, why are you telling me that you don't need me when I literally just got here? You just hired me. She's like, yeah, well, I like having an au pair, but I don't necessarily need to have an au pair. You know, like I can clean up my own house and I can do this. I like somebody that's part of the family. I can cook, I can clean up my own house, I can take care of my own kids. I just like somebody to be like a part of the family. I like the cultural exchange part and things like that. And I roll my eyes because it's not true. Like, it's not true. And you're going to see why I say that it's not true. And as well, I just feel like it's not nice to tell somebody that just got to your house that you don't need them. I'm not saying grovel on the ground and say that you need me, but for me, even in the way that she said it, it just made me feel a bit unwanted. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just did feel a bit like, I don't think I just don't think that's nice. It feels very much like me trying to go out and meet a new friend. And then at this meeting with this new friend, I tell that new friend that I don't really need friends. It's just like, oh, so like, why? It's just odd, you know? That's my whole point. It's just odd. She goes on to say like, yeah, even with Beth, you know, Beth was chased away from her family, and I hired her because I just knew that she was just desperate and she just needed somewhere to go. And you know, you should have seen her when she first got here. She was so skinny, and I could tell that she was unwell and she was just like so unhappy and so scared. And now she's like gained weight and she's this is that and the third, and she's much happier now, and this is that and the third. And as much as that could have been true, I just didn't like, I don't know, you guys, it's something in the way that she would say things like that. And also, I feel like it's not really your business to tell me that. You know what I mean? It's not your business to tell me somebody else's misfortunes. So for me, I never told her what happened to me. I just didn't tell her because number one, I didn't want her to hire me based off of feeling sorry for me. No. Hire me because you like me and because you want me to be a part of your family. Don't hire me because I've got a sub story and you know I'm homeless in Luxembourg. Like, no. When she was saying all those things, I felt like, oh my God, thank God I didn't tell her. Because it's just like, that means the next person, she's going to be telling them all my business. And I don't like that. Like, I really don't like that, dude. Like, I really don't like that. And also, it's in the way that she would like make herself feel like the hero of this whole situation. Like, yeah, I took her in. Like, I helped her. I did this, that, and the third for her. Fine. Anyways, the deal is on Monday, Beth is going to be here and she's going to show me the way that the family does things, like their routine and things like that. Cool. So Monday morning comes and Beth is there. I meet her for the first time and she's like showing me like, okay, in the morning you wake the kids up. For Jake, you take out his outfit, what he's going to wear, and then with Sarah, you just help her like get dressed and also take out her outfit and blah 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 in the morning. Make breakfast and this is that and the third. Okay, she's showing me around. Like Beth is very sweet. We instantly hit it off. Like her and I get along so well. And after the kids go to school, you know, I drop off Sarah at school, come back to the house, do a bunch of chores, ironing, putting the clothes away. She's showing me everything. So in essence, because she's showing me all these things, like we end up like splitting like the tasks and the chores in half. And I feel like at this point, because Beth was there, I didn't really see how much work there was in that house because me and Beth were splitting it. So if I was like sweeping and mopping, she would like start tackling the laundry and do the ironing, things like that. I didn't really like feel like, okay, like that's so much to do because Beth and I would tag team the chores. When Beth left and I was all by myself, y'all, yay, that was a lot. That was a lot to do. Beth and I were getting on, we tag teaming, she's showing me around, and I'm aware that Beth is only going to be here for 1 week and then the next week going to be leaving. She's starting a new life in Germany and she's going to be doing her house building. You know, I'm excited for her. So fine, you know, the first week, it's fine. You know, I genuinely feel like, okay, I'm going to be fine here. Like, I'm going to be fine. Even though there's a couple things that I don't like, you know, like, at this point, I've just learned that my host mom, she shouts a lot. She complains a lot. And if she does something nice for you, she's going to want to tell the whole world that she did that something nice for you. Like, so I'm like, okay, cool. I can see what this is, right? And even like, I feel like my host mom, like, I don't know, dude, like, she just like tend to like overspeak. Like, things that like you'd never asked her for her advice, she would just like give you her advice. You know, I remember this other time we are talking and she asked about like relationships and who's dating and blah blah blah. And my friend Beth, you know, Beth had a boyfriend. She was saying like, oh, Beth shouldn't be paying for anything, like her boyfriend should be taking care of everything and blah blah. And it's just like, Beth, you could tell that Beth was uncomfortable. And I just hated that because it's just like, don't give unsolicited advice, especially relationship advice, because every relationship works different. If they're happy together, let them be happy together. In fact, they've now got married. So can you imagine if Beth listened to my host mom's advice and then like allowed that to cause a wedge in their relationship? Like, every relationship is different. You know, if that's the way that they choose to handle their finances, that's the way that they choose to handle their finances. At the end of the day, Beth and her boyfriend, they're not from here. They're not from Europe. They're not Europeans. They're also still trying to build up their life together. So if Beth was going to want to like be super demanding of a boyfriend that he should do this, that, and the third, then that might hold them back. If they're trying to build something together, then let them build something together. You know what I mean? And also, it's not like she didn't know all this. She knew that F's boyfriend is also from Zim, and he's also just moved to Europe, maybe 2 years at this point. He doesn't have his life all the way together. So to expect him to fully be providing for Beth when he also doesn't have all his life together, it's not fair. You know, it's not fair. It's not nice. And again, I just hated that she was like complaining, essentially, but it's got nothing to do with her. And Beth and her boyfriend, they're quite happy together. So why would you want to like involve yourself and then like make things worse for a young, happy couple? Do you get what I mean? I didn't really like that. But one thing I was glad about that Beth never took her advice. And I also never really took her advice because she tried to give me relationship advice too. Like, darling, I don't really take advice from people. If you live in the type of life that I don't want to have, I don't really take your advice because I can see where your advice has gotten you. Do you get what I mean? Like, your values and the way that you think and your mentality, that's where you are in life. If where you are in life is not where I want to be in life, why would I take your advice? Like, why would I take your advice? Oh.
And also, the advice she's giving me is just basically telling me like, oh, like, your boyfriend is gonna leave you one day. One day he's gonna wake up and he's not gonna love you anymore and things like that. And it's not that I don't think, I don't know. It's not that I don't think that men are capable of that. I also don't think very highly of men, right? But it's just like inappropriate, I would say. Like, I don't know. It's just like me going up to a married woman telling her like, hey, you know, like couples are divorcing, like people are getting divorced. It's like, okay, why are you telling a happily married woman that couples are divorcing? Like, it's weird. It's weird.
It's like me taking advice from somebody that's in debt, telling me how I can become a millionaire. Your own advice didn't save you. Why would I take your advice? Like, so fine, whatever. So fine, you know, the week ended and Beth left, and then it was just me with that family, and that's when things got really, really hard. That's when things got really, really, really hard. And I was so happy for Beth, but I was like sad for myself because I knew Beth was going to start a new life elsewhere. And she was like really, really going to start like properly building a life for herself and a career and things like that. And I was really, really, I couldn't be happier for her. Like I couldn't be happier for her because she deserves it. Like she's such a good person. And I just wanted her to like have the best of the best. So I was so happy for her. When she left, I took her to the airport where she was going to leave, and I helped her with her bags, and then I said goodbye to Beth. When I said goodbye to Beth, I didn't know that it was about to be the beginning of a rough time for me. Also, before that, another thing that I didn't really like that my host mom did was she would accommodate me and Beth in the house, but Beth would end up having to sleep on the couch downstairs. And it's just like, if you cannot accommodate two au pairs at the same time, then don't have them. You know, it was weird, and I didn't really like that because her explanation is she wants Beth to teach me things, but instead of having Beth be the one to teach me things, you can be the one to teach me things and how you want your household to be run. There's no need for Beth to be sleeping on the couch downstairs with zero privacy. The couch is not that comfortable. It's cold as hell. Like, I didn't really like that. I also felt super uncomfortable with no like sleeping on my bed knowing that she's sleeping on the couch. I didn't really like that. And number two, I remember this other time she was I won't say complaining, but she like made this comment like as if also she was doing me and Beth a favor. Like, oh yeah, having two au pairs is, you know, it's not cheap, you know, like at the end of the day, as much as, yeah, I'm not paying double, but I'm feeding two people. And it's just like, again, nobody forced you to be the one to feed two people. Like, you could have let Beth go earlier and then I could have joined later. Like, there was a way around it. Don't act like you're doing somebody a favor. Do you get what I mean? She wanted to act like she's doing something nice. And that's not the case. Like, you're doing this to make your life easier so you don't get to complain. I mean, like, you kept Beth here and you let me arrive earlier just so Beth would have to teach me the thing so you don't have to. You're not doing anybody a favor. But anyways, now I'm gonna get into all the other things that happened because I feel like my story's all over the place, but this whole experience was very much all over the place. And also, because I stayed there for like a bit longer than a month, I'm not gonna tell you things that happened day by day. I'm just gonna give you a bunch of incidents. But one, let's get into the kids. Chris and Jake, they were not super like respectful. Do you get what I mean? Like, I felt like I was the gum that got stuck at the bottom of their shoe. Especially the first week when the au pair left. Like, the kids wouldn't even greet me. They wouldn't even greet me and say, like, good morning. Like, I would say it, and then they just, like, wouldn't say it back. And then I stopped saying it. And then it almost felt like they were mad that I stopped saying that. And it's just like, yeah, because you guys don't even acknowledge me. Like, I don't know. It was very, like, weird, but at the same time, I wanted to be patient with them because, you know, when Beth went away, the kids were crying because Beth was leaving, which for me was shocking because I'm just like, you guys never even respected Beth when she was here. Like, I'm talking as in Beth would ask for help, the kids would never help. Wouldn't listen to her if she said, like, no, don't do this. Like, they just wouldn't listen. They wouldn't treat her like somebody that they liked or loved, really. So for me, I'm like, why y'all crying? When she was here, y'all barely showed her any respect, any acknowledgement. Why y'all crying? But okay. And even that night, you know, the kids were crying, saying, oh yeah, but I don't even talk to them, and this is that and the third.
All right, so I also want to elaborate on this. I'm not really sure if it adds anything to the story, but I just want to tell you anyways. So on the night that Beth left, my one host kid just started crying, like, oh, he's so sad, Beth has left. She didn't even say goodbye. And then my other host kid started crying, and then my other host kid started crying. Everybody's now crying over Beth at this table. And not only are they crying over Beth, they're talking about me, saying like, they don't even want me here. I don't even speak to them. And to that, I very quickly jump in and say, don't be saying that because you guys don't even acknowledge me. Even if I greet you in the morning, you guys don't even bother to greet me back. So don't make it like I'm the villain in this situation. Don't do that. Then my host mom's like, okay, everybody calm down, calm down. I'm like, no, I'm calm. I'm just saying. And also, this whole conversation is going in French and nobody's translating. But at this point, my French is like getting good. I'm good at like hearing it, not necessarily speaking it, just because, when you're in that country exposed to that language and that language only, it becomes quicker for you to learn. And I don't want them thinking they can just get away with saying things about me just in their language, thinking that I will never hear it. Do you get what I mean? So I had to jump in very quickly and say, no, you guys don't even greet me if I greet you in the morning. So I don't understand how you guys think that we're going to form some sort of relationship when you guys treat me that way.
I'm thinking, bro, like, when I even say good morning to y'all, you guys don't even acknowledge me. What more do you want me to do? Like, what more do you want me to do? Because at first, I really did try. Like, I gave it so much effort, but, like, I felt like I was just getting a slap in the face every single time, child. I was just getting a slap in the face. So then I stopped trying. I was the maid, and not even like the maid, but like the invisible maid. Like, I was only visible when they wanted something from me. Other than that, zero acknowledgement, zero appreciation, like just zero. Like, I was just like a nothing. Do you get what I mean? And it's not right, but it's okay. Number two, the cleaning. Cleaning was a bit much, y'all. Like, the cleaning was a bit much. I felt it when Beth left. Like, the cleaning was a lot, dude. Like, ironing clothes for 3 kids, y'all. It's no joke. And especially in the winter time when, like, you are layering up on clothing. And they were kids, so kids sometimes their clothings they get it mixed up. The dirty and the clean is sometimes all mixed together. So the laundry was killing me. It was a lot. And then on top of that, they would complain that I spend too much time on laundry, like I spend too much time on ironing. And it's just like, have y'all seen it? Have y'all seen? Like, my mom like, I feel like you spend too much time on ironing. Like, ironing for me, it only takes me 30 minutes. Bro, if y'all were to see the amount of ironing I was doing in that house. And again, I only felt it once Beth had left because, like I said, we used to like tag team. Keeping the kids' room clean, whoa. That was also a full-time job on its own. And the bathroom clean, also another full-time job. The kids would like make such a mess, bro, like such a mess. And I would have to be the only one to clean it because my host mom would never encourage the kids to clean up after themselves. And I'm like, these kids are grown. We've got a 12-year-old, we've got a 10-year-old, and we've got a 6-year-old. All these 3 people, able-bodied, they can clean up after themselves. No, I'm not talking deep cleaning, but to just put the toys back in the bin. Like, put the toys back in the bin where the toys are supposed to go. Do you get what I mean? I'm not asking for a lot, like, if I asked for that. I remember this one time, they had, like, hey, you guys want to tell you the toys were filling up, like, the whole bedroom? And I just, like, made their beds and I left it like that. And my husband was like, when you clean up, you need to clean up the kids' toys as well. I was like, yeah, but these kids are grown. Why can't they clean up their toys themselves? I mean, I can't be picking up toys day and night. I didn't really say that, but I did say though, like, at what age then are the kids going to learn how to clean up after themselves? I mean, they're also grown. And she's like, oh, you know what you can do? You can maybe just like help them, like ask them, like, if this toy, are they still using it? Because I feel like sometimes all the toys is also because they have too many toys. So ask them, like, are they still using this toy? So then you can take it and put it away, or you can take it and throw it away. I'm thinking, I'm still doing all the work still. Like, so after she said that, I was like, okay, cool. I got it. Like, I'm basically all on my own when it comes to this. Like, you're not going to help me, and you're not going to encourage the kids to clean up after themselves. Got it. Cool. And then also another thing, because we didn't have a contract, like, things just started showing the fact that we don't really have a contract. So she can say whatever she wants to say at whatever time she wants to say it because we don't really have anything in writing stating things. Like, for example, I went to Bergen with my boyfriend, right? Before I went, she also made a fuss about it. Mind you, she had said that my weekends would be off, right? When I came, it was suddenly, oh, you're off once the kids leave, when their dad picks them up. When is their dad picking them up? Oh, on Saturday. Okay, cool. Does he pick them up in the morning? No, he picks them up Saturday midday. Do you see how he just went from telling me my weekends are off to telling me that no, my weekend begins on Saturday, to telling me that my weekend begins on Saturday midday, which also turned out to not be so true because it was also dependent on when the dad would pick up the kids. So sometimes the dad would pick the kids up at 2 p.m. Then that would mean my weekend would start at 2 p.m. I'm only free to go do what I want on Saturday at 2 p.m. I would ask her, oh, so then how often can I have like a full weekend off? And she was like, oh, like you can have it like almost whenever you want. Like if I'm able to, just give you a full weekend, you can have it, you know. She's like, yeah, you saw like Beth, when you came, Beth was gone for the whole weekend. I just like let her have a full weekend because she wanted to have a full weekend. So I was like, okay, cool. So I guess she's like pretty lenient. But when I told her that I wanted to go to Bergen with my boyfriend, she was like, I feel like now you're always taking Saturdays off, bro.
And I also want to jump in and say that literally the night before I left for Bergen, she said, yeah, like if you do end up going, then this means that this will be taken away from your off time, like your vacation time. And I'm literally like, this lady, she said that I could ask her to have a weekend off and I can have a weekend off almost any time that I want. But now that I'm asking for it, it's suddenly going to count against me.
What? And also it's what, because that Saturday off she was talking about, I went away to the Netherlands the first weekend when I arrived, and I asked her if that was okay, and she's like, yeah, at this point you're still like in induction phase, so you can still do whatever it is that you want. If you want to go out, you can go out. It's not really going to count against you. And then now when I'm asking to take another Saturday 2 weeks later, now you're making it count against me, even though you said you were not going to do that. In fact, you did say that I would always have my weekends off. Now, you see how she's like going back on her word and going back on her word and going back on her word? Because again, we don't really have anything in writing. So she can just like change up anything however she wants, which is something that Beth also told me. She's like, yeah, I never had a contract, but make sure that you get a contract. And I was telling her like, yeah, I think I will get a contract, because she took a picture of my passport and my visa, so she said she's making my contract. She's like, okay, good. And I also thought, okay, good, but she never made that contract. And even when it came to tasks, it made it easier for her to like just say anything that she just wanted to say and make up. Like this one time she's like, oh, she wants me to do a grocery list because she's gonna go shopping for groceries later. Bro, at this point I'm like, I do everything in this house. I do all the cleaning, I wake the kids up, I make the breakfast, I am taking care of the kids when they come back from school. The only thing my host mom would do was cook. That's the only thing my host mom would do. All the deep cleaning, ironing, the laundry, the sorting, like I would do everything. The only thing that she would do was cook. Now I'm writing a grocery list too. So when she asked me to like write a grocery list, I was like, write a grocery list? I don't really think that's a part of my responsibility. I never knew that was a part of my responsibility. She's like, oh, Beth didn't tell you that's part of your responsibility? Well, yeah, that's part of your responsibility. I was like, oh, I thought my responsibilities were things to do with like the kids, you know? And she's like, oh, well, you're the one that eats the most. Yay! Bye. Like, actually, goodbye. For me, that's when I had lost respect, because now you're making it up. Like, now you're making it up. And I know you're making it up because I don't even eat a lot. I am a bad eater. Anybody that knows me in this life knows that I don't really eat well. Like, I suck at eating. I love to eat, but I just like suck at eating. Like if I'm gonna have to like make my own food, it's really weird because I like to cook for people. I like to make food for people, but when it comes to myself, I'm like lazy with it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be doing the most for just me. I just don't really enjoy doing that. Just for me, I don't know. So for her to be like, I'm the one that eats the most, now you're making it up. Like, now you're making it up. She's like, yeah, because for the most part, you're going to see, like, I'm going to be gone. And it's just that this week, I've been, like, working from home. But for the most part, I'm going to be gone. And the kids are gone at school all day. You're the one that's here. But at this point, I was like, okay. I just felt, like, really disrespected. And also, I just felt like it's just, even if I was the one that eats the most, it's not really nice to say that to somebody. It's just not nice. It's just not a nice thing to say, you know? Let's take away the fact that it was not true. But let's say it was true. And he's charged his camera. Oh, give me 1 second. Anyways, the angle's changed because my camera's charging. But I'm just saying, like, it's just not a nice thing to say, you know, to somebody that they eat the most. Like, You're saying that just because you want me to be the one to write the groceries. Like, you're saying that to be controlling. Do you get what I mean? And that was another pattern with her. My host mom was very controlling. So at that point, you guys, I start to feel so unhappy. Like, so unhappy. And I know a part of it had to do with the fact that I'd already had two really bad experiences. And I just like couldn't understand why on earth I kept on having bad experiences. Why on earth do I keep matching with these families? And at the same time, I'm also frustrated in myself because I'm like, I did see the red flags. Like I said, like when I did my interview, she never asked anything about me. First day I came, she was shouting a storm. You know, even with my previous family, you know, I felt it on the first night that, I really shouldn't be here. You know, like I was just frustrated. I fell into a really deep depression, you guys, and I cannot explain it. Like, I cannot. You guys, I didn't really live in like central Paris, but like Paris was one train away. I never went, not one time. I never went, not one time, because I just felt so demotivated. I felt so just tired from like, I felt like I was carrying the whole family on my back. Not even in that way. I was carrying the whole family on my back with my labor because that's the only thing that they ever saw value in me is like my labor. All you guys want me to do is to iron your clothes, to do your laundry, to clean up after you. Like, you guys don't really care anything else about me. And it was just sad. You know, like I remember one week I cried every single day when I was doing the chores because I was just like, I am so tired of this. Like, why do I feel like I'm gonna cry right now? I feel like I'm gonna cry telling this, but I was just like, I'm so tired of being here. Like, this house is also so miserable. Like, my host mom is always shouting a lot. Like, my host mom would shout a lot, you guys. Like, the kids don't really respect me, especially Jake. Jake would just like, I don't know, sometimes I'm waking him up in the morning, he wouldn't even wake up. Or I'm waking him up and he's like shoving and like fighting me to wake up in the morning. And
all in all, though, I think Jake really just had really bad behavioral issues. And if he had some sort of negative emotion, he had to like act it out, and he could never regulate his emotions. But at the same time, my own host mom couldn't regulate her emotions. That's why she was always shouting. So obviously that means she has not taught the kids how to regulate their own emotions, because you can't teach something that you don't know. So sometimes if Jake is mad, he's throwing all his things on the floor. This one time he broke his tablet by throwing it at the wall because he was upset that he like lost the game. Then also when I had arrived, Beth told me like, yeah, like this one time Jake was like really hitting her in the street because he didn't want her to be the one to pick him up from school. And a part of me does think, like, why didn't Beth tell me this information? Because I had just come from a family where one of my host kids was hitting me, but she was disabled, but she was hitting me. I wouldn't sign up for another family with a child that would be hitting me. So yes, sometimes I do question myself, like, why did Beth tell me this family was okay and I should go? Then another thing that happened with Jake was that we were sitting at the table and he just started talking about how annoying I am. Like, he just like called me annoying and everybody else at the table was laughing. Guys, can you, as a person that doesn't speak the language, have this entire family speak about you in their home language, calling you annoying, and everyone is just like laughing at you when they are the ones that told you that they wanted you to be a part of their family? And the mom had specifically said she's looking for an au pair for somebody that was going to be a part of the family. Is that even how you treat, not even like family, just like people? Like, let's not even go as far as family, but like people. I feel like you don't treat people like that.
I was just so miserable every single day. And I started to understand, you know, when she said that she doesn't want somebody that's always crying because she once had an au pair that was always crying. I was like, I understand her. Like, I had become that au pair that was always crying. I was crying in secret, obviously, because I was never going to let them see me cry, no. But so unhappy and just so like constantly unappreciated. Like, I would clean up the room in the morning, the kids come back from school, they make a mess, and they don't care. You know, like, wake up the next day, I do it all over again. It just became hard to do any and everything. Like, my self-care, I stopped taking care of myself completely because I felt like, what is the point? Like, all I do is just clean in this house. Like, I'm just there to clean and do chores. Like, what's the point of me even like waking up to look pretty for that? Like, there's no point. you know? And I started to understand why Beth really wouldn't even bother with her looks because it's like, why would I bother? Like, bro, even at dinner times, I was not really included during dinner. Like, they would just be sitting at the table talking French, and then my husband would have to like be translating from time to time. But I don't know. Sometimes, you're sitting at the table, people are talking, and then all of a sudden they're laughing, and you're just like sitting there. And I just like felt like not really included. And then my host mom also would force me to join dinner. And I'm gonna say force because of two situations. One time I told her like, oh, I had like really, really bad period pains, which is just something that I just do struggle with in my life. Like my period pains are like really, really bad. And I was like, I'm not gonna join for dinner because I'm like, my period pains are really, really bad, right? It was like, oh, okay. She didn't really like show like any empathy or like, oh, sorry. But I was just telling her like, I'm not gonna join for dinner. I'm not really feeling well, right? So good night, everybody. She didn't say good night back, right? She was with Sarah at this point, like in the kitchen. Sarah said good night to me. She never said good night back. And I was like, why wouldn't you say good night back? But at this point, I'm just like, oh, I'm in too much pain to care. Do you get me? I'm in too much pain to care that you're upset. Like, I am the one that's sick right now. So, I'm in too much pain to care about that. Then another time, I tell her I'm not joining dinner because I'm tired. If you don't know, in France, the kids don't go to school on Wednesday. So, on Wednesday, the kids are with me the whole day. So, that was Wednesday. So, I was tired because I was with the kids the whole day. I'm cleaning, I'm making their meals during the day. I am doing the laundry. I'm entertaining these kids. My one host kids had to go to dance classes and we have to walk all the way there and all the way back, and it's just like a lot, right? So at the end of the day, I was tired. I didn't want to join for dinner. Like told her like, oh, I'm not gonna join for dinner. I'm like quite tired today. And she was like, oh, no, you have to join for dinner. That's a rule in my house. I'm like, I didn't know that was a rule in your house. You never told me that rule. She's like, yeah, well, yeah, there is a rule in my house. You have to join for dinner. Even if you don't eat, you have to at least sit at the table. I'm like, I have to sit at the table and watch you guys eat. And she's like, oh, you know what? I don't care. Do whatever you want. Just do what you want. I do what I want. I go upstairs and I go to my room. Shortly after, I'm hearing stomping on the stairs. She's coming up to my room now. She's coming up to my room and she's like, yeah, I don't really like that. I feel like you disrespected me in front of the kids. Like, everyone has to join dinner at this house. That's just a rule in my house. Like, you have to join for dinner. That is the rule. I'm like, I didn't know that that was a rule. You can't be now telling me that that is a rule. Rules are stated at the beginning. Everything so that I know what I'm getting myself into and I know what you're expecting of me. But you can't be telling me that, like, now that I've been here for so long, now you're telling me that the rule is that I have to join for dinner. And she's like, yeah, you have to. And also, this is the second time you're not joining for dinner. I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah, yeah, the other week you didn't join because you were on your period. And fine, I allowed it. I'm thinking, are you alright? Like, are you hearing yourself? Like, I am sick. And you're counting that against me as me not joining up for dinner on the day that I was sick. But fine. She's like, yeah, so I don't really like that, blah, blah, blah. It's disrespectful, and this is the and the third. And I just knew that at the root of it, it was just about control. Like now she's saying it's a rule. Since when has it been a rule? If it was a rule, it would have been something that she told me when I came. Like if it was really a rule. But because now you're making it up, now it's a rule. Cool. And I was also just upset because it's just like, you guys sit at the table talking French the whole time. It's not even like you're gonna miss my presence. Like, you're just controlling me. You just want me to be there just to be there. But it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like my presence means anything. It's not like, I don't know. It was just like, I don't really like that because I knew that she was just being controlling. And you guys, like, that house, like, just made me a very miserable person. Like, everything was just unpleasant. Everything was just so hard. You guys, like, from even like using the bathroom was difficult because every time the kids would make a mess in the bathroom, I'm talking like the boys were like, I don't know what, they were like sometimes peeing on the floor or something. So even sometimes I'm just like, I feel even annoyed having to use the bathroom because I know I'm going to have to clean it before I use it because they all either didn't flush the toilet, peed on the floor, peed on the seats, didn't wipe it. Like things like that. Taking a bath Also, somebody took a bath, they didn't clean up after themselves. There's water all over the floor. Like there's toothpaste in the sink. Like all these things, it's just like, oh, like everything would make me sad and just like irate at the same time. Like I'm irritated, you know? And I know for you guys, because it's only like a month or so that I was there, you're going to feel like I didn't try, but I really did try. I really did try. Like at some point, I convinced myself I was going to be happy there. Like, because when I first came, I was like, I'm not really sure about this. But I was like, you know what, I can do that. I'm gonna try. You know, maybe I just need to like put my focus on something else. You know, I love to do my social media and I love to like vlog. So I'm like, you know what, maybe I can travel. But then when I found out my schedule is not going to be what I thought it would be. If the dad is picking up the kids at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, when and how can I travel? Because if I can only leave at 2, maybe I get to like if I even want to go to Paris, it's gonna take me a whole hour to get to Paris. I get to Paris at 3 p.m. And if I want to come out home at a decent time, that means I'm only spending about 2 hours in Paris and I have to go back home. Bro, like, or if what about if I want to leave and go to a different country? Like it was just I'm not gonna make it here because I'm just going to be unhappy the whole time, you know? And I'm like, I can't even like be doing my videos. I tried, I was like, I even bought stuff, you guys. Like the bedroom, I was like, you know what? Maybe if I made the bedroom my own, I would like it. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna try and throw money. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna try and throw money at the problem, right? Because being a content creator is a blessing and a curse. Okay, a curse because when you do a campaign, like you can get paid 6 months from now, you can get paid 3 months from now. You know what I mean? But the blessing part is when that money comes through, it comes through. Okay, so I said, you know what? I'm just gonna throw money at the problem. I bought new duvets. I bought a new duvet cover. I said, you know what? I'm going to like be filming. I'm going to maybe if I direct my sadness and I create something that could make me happy. You know, I love to create, I love to do stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe if I did that, you guys, I spent my money, I bought a new duvet that I eventually had to leave there because I couldn't take that duvet with me. It was such a good duvet, y'all. Oh, it was so good. And at that point, I'm just trying to make myself feel better. Like I'm trying, I'm really, really trying here. But anyways, I'm at this point, I'm just going through my own thing. You know, I'm unhappy. And that's when I get on Facebook, right? I get on Facebook and I go back and I try to find new families. And I end up speaking to my current family and, you know, I matched. But even in that period of time when I was still speaking, I was, like, almost difficult to it was almost difficult to be staying there because again like I was saying my host mom was shouting, she would always badmouth um people and just like negative, just a negative vibe, you know, like even if she wanted to say I did a good job at something, she would say Beth never did a good job at this but you're better. And I again didn't like that because Beth is my friend, number one, but number two, it's this whole thing of putting somebody down. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your French is getting better. Beth never bothered to learn French. Well, yeah, Beth never bothered to learn French because she's trying to learn German. You know she's going to start a new life in Germany. That's what she needs to focus on. Do you get what I mean? Like things like that. Even like sometimes she said like, oh, you know, nowadays au pairs only do this whole appearing thing for the money and they don't really do it for the cultural exchange and this is that and the third. I'm thinking because people need money. Or she's like, oh, African au pairs. She said that. Yeah, she did say that. She was African, by the way. She was also African, talking bad about other Africans. Again, didn't like that. But she was saying like, oh yeah, au pairs nowadays, African au pairs only au pair for the money, and you're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing it for the experience. You know, when she was an au pair, she was an au pair in London. She's like, yeah, when I was an au pair, you know, I'd get my £60, and I would be grateful for it. You know, I'd be able to go around, travel, do things, this, and the third. And I'm thinking, you cannot be comparing £60 from 20 years ago to what £60 does now because again, the au pair pay has not changed. It's not been upgraded, updated, anything like that. So yeah, au pairs do it for the money. And it's like, not you trying to act like you don't hire au pairs because they are cheaper. Because I saw by the amount of work that there was in that house, like she needed both a nanny and a cleaner, not an au pair. But suddenly when au pairs are trying to like make something of themselves and make decent money, it's a problem for you. Like au pairs only do it for the money. And then it's like you complaining about African au pairs, but you keep hiring African au pairs. She'd hired 3 African au pairs back to back to back. So if you don't like that they're after only the money, why do you continue to only hire African au pairs? Do you get what I mean? It's also this superiority thing that she had going on, and I also didn't like it at all. But anyways, there was that one week that like sealed the deal for me. I bought new duvets. I bought a new duvet cover. I said, you know what? I'm going to like be filming. Maybe if I direct my sadness and I create something that could make me happy. I love to create. I love to do stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe if I did that, you guys, I spent my money. I bought a new duvet that I eventually had to leave there because I couldn't take that duvet with me. It was such a good duvet, y'all. Oh, it was so good. And at that point, I'm just trying to make myself feel better. Like I'm trying. I'm really, really trying here.
And just to give you guys a clue on how down I was, I had gotten to the point where I literally hated speaking to my friends and family on the phone just because I was so miserable and I was always complaining. And I literally started feeling like I'm such a bad negative vibe. Nobody wants to talk to me. Mind you, nobody's thinking that. Like, it's not true. Like, I was like making that up in my head. But because in my work and living situation, I felt like nobody cared. So it just started like pouring out into my personal life. I just felt like nobody cares. Stop complaining. Like, just very miserable. But I also feel like that is like even the worst part about parent is the fact that there's no separating yourself from work. So because I literally live where I work and where I work is like negative, so I'm in a negative space 24/7 because I also only get one full day off a week.
But anyways, I'm at this point, I'm just going through my own thing. I'm unhappy. And that's when I get on Facebook, right? I get on Facebook and I go back and I try to find new families. And I end up speaking to my current family and, I matched. But even in that period of time when I was still speaking, it was almost difficult to be staying there because, again, like I was saying, my host mom was shouting. She would always badmouth people and just like just a negative vibe. Like even if she wanted to say I did a good job at something, she would say, Beth never did a good job at this, but you're better. And I again didn't like that because Beth is my friend, number one. But number two, it's this whole thing of putting somebody down. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your French is getting better. Beth never bothered to learn French. Well, yeah, Beth never bothered to learn French because she's trying to learn German. She's going to start a new life in Germany. That's what she needs to focus on. Do you get what I mean? Like things like that. Even like sometimes she said like, oh, nowadays au pairs only do this whole au pairing thing for the money and they don't really do it for the cultural exchange and this is that and the third. I'm thinking, because people need money. Or she's like, oh, African au pairs. She said that. Yeah, she did say that. She was African, by the way. She was also African, talking bad about other Africans. Again, didn't like that. But she was saying like, oh yeah, au pairs nowadays, African au pairs only au pair for the money. And you're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing it for the experience, When she was an au pair, she was an au pair in London. She's like, yeah, when I was an au pair, I'd get my £60. I would be grateful for it. I'd be able to go around, travel, do things, this, and the third. And I'm thinking, you cannot be comparing £60 from 20 years ago to what £60 does now because, again, the au pair pay has not changed. It's not been upgraded, updated, anything like that. And it's like, not you trying to act like you don't hire au pairs because they are cheaper. Because I saw by the amount of work that there was in that house, like she needed both a nanny and a cleaner, not an au pair. But suddenly when au pairs are trying to like make something of themselves and make decent money, it's a problem for you. Like au pairs only do it for the money. And then it's like you complaining about African au pairs, but you keep hiring African au pairs. She'd hired 3 African au pairs back to back to back. So if you don't like that they're after only the money, why do you continue to only hire African au pairs? Do you get what I mean? It's also this superiority thing that she had going on, and I also didn't like it at all.
And also because she's saying that au pairs is supposed to do it for the cultural exchange, but she's not providing no cultural exchange. You're only getting 1 full day off. She was not paying for the metro and train tickets, so that's also pretty pricey as an au pair to pay it yourself. So I felt like she's wanting au pairs to come for the cultural exchange, but as the host, she's not providing things for you to really participate and really feel the cultural exchange.
But anyways, there was that one week that like sealed the deal for me, right? My host kid got sick and he needed to go to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and at first point I already knew that I was leaving, but I started to feel so bad. Just because like as much as Jake and I did not get along, like he had no respect, no regard for me at all, but I still felt bad for him, you know, like I don't ever want to see a child be sick. Hi, I'm so sorry I got disrupted. I had to like go take care of my kids quickly. But to continue the story about the straw that broke the camel's back. So Akko got sick and she was in the hospital for a couple of days, like maybe 5 days, 4 or 5 days, something like that. She wasn't able to be at home. So I was the one taking care of Sarah and Chris, right? Which was not really too much of an issue because Sarah, I always took care of her anyway, so it was like nothing new. And Chris is like 12 or 11 years old, 11, 12 years old. So a lot of things he's able to do on his own. I was just mainly just like making sure there was dinner, just like cleaning up and things like that. Oh, I'm sorry if you hear that in the background. It's my kids, okay? It's my kids, stop. And so because she was at hospital all the time, she was even sometimes sleeping there. And I don't know if you guys know, but those are also still considered working hours, even if the kids are sleeping. If you are there as somebody that takes care of them, those count as working hours, because should an emergency happen, you need to be the one to take care of it. Should the kids be fighting, you need to be the one on standby just in case anything happens. So yes, that does count as working hours. Now, I'm not saying this as like to put it against her that I was like overworking, but I'm just saying this so you guys remember that I was overworking, right? I was working a lot more hours than what I should have. Cool.
And then there was also a week where she left for work and I was with the kids the whole week. One of her family members came over though to help me, but it was more so just there to make sure that the kids were behaving and that they were going to bed on time, but not necessarily to help like ease the amount of work, if that makes sense. So again, I am working a lot of hours. Do remember this.
But I don't make a big deal about it because I know she can't control it. Her kid is sick in the hospital. Sharp. Then her kid comes back from hospital and she tells me, oh, like he has asthma. So this is a new medication, blah, blah, blah. And apparently he's had asthma for years. Why is this the first I'm hearing of it? Why is it my first time hearing that your kid has asthma when I've been taking care of this kid for more than a month? That's not fair to me because should something happen to the kid, I need to know like, okay, he's asthmatic. Should he have trouble breathing? Should he have show any signs? I need to know like, okay, he's asthmatic. This could happen to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was very, very unfair to me, and it's very unfair to the child, most importantly, because at the times that you're not able to be there, I'm the one that's there, so I need to know these things. So she didn't tell me that. Fine. I just move on from that because at this point, I'm just like, I'm leaving anyways. Like, I knew I was going to leave anyways. So I just like, all this stuff happening is just like, it just assures me that I'm making the right decision. So then she shows me like all his medication that he needs to take and blah, blah, blah. It's quite a lot of medication and it's written, but it's all written in French. And you know, like doctor's handwriting is very difficult to read. So I thought she was like going to guide me through at least the first day to like show me like, okay, at first time, you remember at first time he takes this, blah, 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 blah. She didn't. She just told me like that. And then she's like, yeah, but it's all written down. I'm like, yeah, but it's written in French. Like, I can't read French. And she's like, yeah, so you need to like make sure that by the time he's up, you're also up because so he can take his like medication, this and the third. And in the midst of that, she was also telling me like she's thinking of changing her schedule. She wants to work night shift, right? He says to me like, yeah, I want to work night shift. I think it's better if I'm here in the morning for the kids. Okay. And then I leave like in the afternoon. to go like work, and then I work the whole night. Cool. In her saying that she thinks it's better for the kids if she's here in the morning, she doesn't do anything for the kids in the morning at all. So I'm thinking to myself, like, why are you saying this as if like it's helping me, it's better for me if you are here in the morning? You don't help me with anything with the kids. I wake the kids up. I make sure that they have their clothes and they've eaten, they're leaving on time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the one that's taking care of all of that. I'm the one that's taking care of Sarah, making sure that she's dressed and has her coat on. We're making it to school on time. I'm the one that's doing that. You don't do anything. What she's really trying to do is make me take on more responsibility, because if she's here in the morning, nothing's gonna change. I'm still taking the responsibility. Midday, obviously there's nobody, but I'm still like doing the chores around the house, and I'm, ironing and cleaning and all this. In the afternoon, when the kids are coming back, she's leaving. So that ultimately means I was constantly going to be alone with the kids. Now she's leaving in the afternoon before the kids come back from school, or maybe just like slightly after the kids come back from school. I'm the one that's responsible for like making dinner. Well, not necessarily making dinner, because she would cook, but I'm the one that's like responsible for the kids at that time. So then it's like, when is she going to be with them? When is she? Because at this point, I'm also working 6 days a week. I'm working 6 days a week. In the mornings, I'm with the kids. At night, I'm with the kids. Why are you trying to make me a single mom of 3? I said, I see what you're doing here. I'm not signing up for this. Another thing that I realize is the fact that, like, I'm just here for labor, and the kids don't feel like they have to listen to me. Because, like I said, whenever it came to, like, me asking the kids to clean up after themselves, their mom is backing the kids. You know what I mean? They think that I should be the one to do that. My host kids, I never felt like my host kids felt the need to listen to me ever. So I was like, what's really the point in me being here? Another really, 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 really big thing for me that would happen is the kids would fight. The boys would fight. Jake and Chris would fight a lot. My kids are doing the most there in the back. Jake and Chris would fight a lot, and they would get really, really rough with each other. I'm used to kids fighting. I grew up with my cousins and my siblings who would fight too, but these kids fight in a way that I cannot. Like remember I was telling you, like, Jake went to the hospital and he had asthma. Why is it 3 days from when he comes back from the hospital, Jake and Chris are fighting, and Chris is choking Jake, who is asthmatic and has breathing problems, choking him. And I'm trying to get in the middle of this fight. I'm trying to separate it. I cannot separate it. Chris is bigger than me. Chris is bigger than me. And like I said, the kids don't really feel like they have to listen to me anyways. So it's just like, I'm just making noise. I'm now getting involved. I had to get physical with Chris in order to stop him from choking Jake. Why do I have to do that? One time I saw them fighting. It's all the time because Chris is older and bigger and stronger than Jake, bashing his head on the tiled floor. On the tiled floor, bashing his brother's head. Like, it's not normal. This type of fighting, it is not normal. Okay, it's not normal. Again, you guys, bear in mind that should any sort of serious injury happens, that's under my watch. I was responsible for those kids in that time. And so after that really, really big fight, when I was telling them, like, your brother just came from hospital. He's asthmatic. He cannot breathe. You cannot be choking your brother. He cannot breathe. He has breathing problems anyways. You're making it worse. He's just like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about him. I want him to die and all this. Bye. I said, oh. Yeah, yeah. This is too much for me. This is way more than I can handle. And, like, already everything's been like piling up, but this, no, because I can't stop Chris. I'm not big enough to stop Chris. Chris doesn't even feel like he should listen to me. I felt like my host kids would only listen to me if I talked to their mom, and I would have to get like their mom on the phone in order for them to listen, in order for them to stop fighting. And I just didn't like that, because I should also be respected. And like, I'm also older and they know that I'm their au pair, but because they never saw au pairs as people but more of like laborers, I would say, they just never had that, Cool. the final straw, when it was time to pay me, my money was short. My money was short. My money was short by 20 euros, right? Mind you, 20 euros is not a lot of money, but it is my 20 euros. I earned that 20 euros. I was overworking my hours. That's why I was mentioning that earlier. How do you overwork me but underpay me? How? You know? And I felt like it would have been different if maybe she said, like, oh, I know I paid you this much. I'm supposed to pay you this much. I will pay you more later, or like my something is going on with me financially, so I cannot. She just paid me less, and then she just didn't say anything. Like, she just didn't say anything. And I just felt like, dude, you don't respect me. Like, you don't respect me. If your boss paid you money and it was short, would you feel respected? Would you feel valued? And I was like, the thing is, as well, as au pairs, we don't get paid much. How are you still taking away from the very little that I'm earning? It's inconsiderate. It's inconsiderate. Like, it's really inconsiderate, actually. Like, I really don't like that, like, at all. At all. I really didn't like that. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm definitely leaving. And I'm making the right decision by leaving. At that point, literally nothing could stop me, and nothing was going to change my mind about leaving. I was like, you know what? Nah. Like, nah. Because if anything, it starts off like this and it's only going to get worse. You know what I mean? Because I've also seen this family for what they are. Like, it starts off okay and then it only just gets worse. And I also had to get to thinking about it. Like, at the end of the day, we don't have a contract. You know, so the scales are tipped like this. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not fair. I'd already matched with a new family because I told y'all, like, I stayed on Facebook. I stayed on Facebook looking for new families, I found a new family. And I wasn't going to be able to join my family super soon because they were not looking for me in that time period. But I was just like, I'm not going to stay here. Packed up my bags. I wanted to leave like early in the morning before anybody was awake, but it was holidays and the kids were already up by then, so I had no choice. Sana, I grabbed my bags and I just like went downstairs and took an Uber and left. You know, like the kids, Sarah and Jake saw me leaving. Jake asked, oh, like, are you leaving? I was like, yeah. Sarah asked, oh, are you leaving? I said, yeah. And I think at that point they hadn't realized that I was leaving for good. They just thought like I was just leaving for the weekend. And I really took my bags and left. I took my bags and I left, and then I sent my host mom a message. I'm going to read it to you guys, right? Hi, I just wanted to let you know I left and I won't be coming back. I don't think being an au pair in France was meant to be for me. I've just had too many bad experiences at this point. In the case of your family, seeing the kids fight like that for the third time now was too much for me. I didn't grow up in a house where family fights like that at all. So it's too much for me to deal with. I worry that if they seriously injure each other, I'll be the one responsible because they were in my care and I was the adult in the house. It would be better if they listen to me when I try to calm the situation, but they don't, and I can't be an au pair to kids that don't listen to me at all, because then what's the point of me being there? Also, they don't see a need to respect me enough to apologize, and I'm not okay with that. Another thing is that I don't like to be forced to be at the dinner table. You suddenly told me that it was a rule in your house after I'd been there for more than a month, and it just didn't make sense to me. Then when I told you that I'm an adult, so if I don't eat dinner with you, or once in a while it should be okay, you said that it's your house. So I must do what you want me to do because it's your house. That's not fair to me. Then lastly, when you were supposed to pay me, you sent me 300 euros, but you know you're supposed to pay me 320 euros because that's what we agreed on. I'm not upset over 20 euros because I know it's a small amount of money, but it's the principle behind it. I kept my end of the deal by working, but when I get paid, it's not the full amount. If there was a reason for that, I would have appreciated some sort of explanation for it, but you didn't feel the need to do so. And that also just shows the lack of fairness in this situation. So I sent that, and then she sent me a 2-minute voice note. And I was like, darling, I'm really not listening to that. Like, I'm really not listening to that. Because I know her. She's very reactive. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let it ruin my day. You know, at this point, I'm still in the Uber. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to listen to that. That's just going to ruin my day. So I just didn't listen to it. Then Beth called me. She's like, oh, my God. The host mom just called me. She's crying, saying that you left her and that she cannot believe you left her when you knew that like she just started a new job and she needs you. I'm thinking that's not what you said the first day. The first day you said you don't need an au pair. That's what you said. But fine. It's like, yeah. And she's like crying and saying like even when her kid was in hospital, you didn't show that you cared. You never called her to check on her and her son and how they're doing. And that just showed her the whole time that you didn't really care. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, like, I'm not somebody that pries. Like, I don't pry in your private life. Do you get what I mean? I feel like if you want me to know something, you're going to tell me. And if you don't tell me, then I just assume you don't really want me to know. You know what I mean? And I knew that, like, I felt like, okay, if she's comfortable enough to, like, give me updates, then she gives me updates. But I'm not gonna be the one prying and asking for updates. I don't do that. I just don't operate like that. That's just me. I don't know. I don't want to be annoying. And also, I just think to myself, like, if I'm going to be calling her, I don't know how many other people are already calling her, asking her about her child in hospital, blah, 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 blah. Do you get what I mean? Like, so I'm not going to overstep. And also, it's not like Jake and I were the best of friends. You know, like I'm not now that he's sick and he's in hospital, I'm gonna be overstepping my boundaries doing the most. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I feel like if it's something that she felt like she wanted me to know, she was gonna let me know. Medical stuff is very private, very private. You know, so I don't want to be the one like prying and asking. No, I don't do that. I don't operate like that. It doesn't mean that I don't necessarily care, but it just means that I respect people's privacy because I also want my privacy to be respected. Cool. And anyways, then she sends another voice note. And she says at the end of it, she just says like, "Oh well, I know that you left. I hope that you didn't leave to go be with a man because that's what you did the first week when you came to my house." And it's just like, what you're doing is nothing new. It's not new, this what you're doing. Like that's tell us all this time. Whenever people cannot find something bad about you as a woman, they're always going to try to taint your image by using men. They're gonna say, oh, you sleep with a lot of men, or you love men, or you sleep around, or whore, things like that. Like, oh, that's nothing new. I wasn't even I was mad about it, but at the same time I was like, oh, that's nothing new, anyways. Think about any woman that you know that's been insulted. They will always use a man to insult her. They will always do that. Even with her now, she's trying to make it like, oh, that's the what you did the first weekend you came to my house. First of all, yes, I did go to Bergen with my boyfriend. She had told me my weekends would be off, and then she changed. And number two, I've been with my boyfriend for over a year. It's not really the read that you think it is. And number three, let's say I went to go be with a man, so what? So what? So what? How is that any of her business? And all of this, then she's calling Beth and like telling out Beth bad things about me. And she's also now telling Beth that I was saying bad things about her to Beth. And that just made me mad because this triangulation that she's trying to do is useless because me and Beth and I talk. You know what I mean? Like I just called her last week to just check on her. But Beth and I talk. So Beth knows that I'm not gonna say bad things about her. So Beth is telling me, and she's like, dude, I was literally laughing because she's like, yeah, I told her that I think that Beth asked too many questions and that I think that Beth, like, just stuff, like stupid stuff. I'm not even gonna repeat it because it's so dumb. It's just so dumb and it's like really upsetting because also, can you imagine if Beth and I maybe like didn't really keep contact and we were not close? The au pair community, the African au pair community especially, is very small here in Europe. It's very small. What if Beth and I were to meet somewhere in future and now she's upset at me because she thought I said all those bad things about her? Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not nice to triangulate people against each other for yourself. Like, why do that? You guys know, like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, the au pair community, African au pair community here in Europe is really, really small. A lot of the au pairs know each other. Like, a lot of au pairs know each other. And it's easy to find each other. Do you guys remember if I posted that video about my host mom, like the crazy one, yeah? Other au pairs were able to find my video and comment how she did the same thing to them because the community is small. The community is very small. So I just think to myself, like, damn, like, now she would have triangulated me and Beth against each other. And what if someday I need Beth's help and then Beth thinks that I said all these bad things about her? It's just not nice, It's just not nice. And I'm really glad I left. Like I'm really glad I left. And anyways, yeah, that is the story about my host family in Paris. It was never Emily in Paris type vibe. Like it was never. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can comment below your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.